Hi, my name is Stephanie Robbins, and I am the president and CEO of Robbins Plumbing here in Phoenix, Arizona. And something that happens to most of us as homeowners is that our faucets may not have enough water coming out of them. And oh my goodness, what could that be? Billy, what might that be? Back in the background, hands on your hips. So that's what happens when marketing makes fun of me behind the camera. They might cut that out, but I will make them put it back. So don't fret. There are a couple of things to check first before you freak out. One of the very, very first things to check is your angle stops. So what is an angle stop? It's the shutoff valve underneath your sink. There's one for hot and one for cold. But often those get bumped, all right? We're throwing stuff under there. We just went to Costco, huge thing of toilet paper. Life happens. So if you're not getting enough water coming out of your faucets, let's look underneath them, whether that's the kitchen or the bathroom, and make sure that those angle stops are on all of the way. If that's not the case, well, it could also be that there's a bad angle stop and it's restricting flow, and that's when you call me. And I won't send marketing to your house because they actually don't know how to replace an angle stop. But I will send you a kick butt plumber. Another thing that it could be is debris in your aerator. What's an aerator? When you're looking at your faucet, Billy, you are on a mission. So what is an aerator? So at the end of the spout of your faucet and you see that screen, that is an aerator. And oftentimes, if you don't have filtration for the water coming into your home, you're gonna end up with debris in those aerators or even calcium buildup from the hard water. Often you can just unscrew that aerator, clean it off, and you're good. If you have a specialty faucet and you don't see where you can unthread that, there's a special key, that kind of thing. Pro tip, do not take a tool to your faucet or aerator because you will scratch the finish. If you aren't able to remove it easily, woo, 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 as my puppy says, and do not take a tool to it. There are professional ways to remove it, and we're happy to teach you when we're out there if this happens in the future, but you don't want to scratch the finish on your faucet. Then it just starts to corrode and it's a hot mess and it looks ugly. We don't want that. The other thing that it could be is a bent or crimped supply line underneath your sink. So what is a supply line? I really feel like making Billy from marketing come over here and explain that to us because he's making all kinds of hand gestures. But I won't. But I might. Him and his Dr. Pepper. So a supply line, so I mentioned before the angle stops under your sink. Well, a supply line is simply the line that connects your angle stop to your faucet. Supply line. There's one behind your toilet as well. But if those are crimped or kinked in any way, they will restrict flow. And by restricting flow, they restrict pressure, volume, the whole deal. So looking underneath that sink, do you see any restrictions? I don't want to say kinked, but I don't have a better word than that. If you have something where it's solid metal and it's kinked, don't touch it. Just don't touch it. As soon as you try to undo that, it's gonna leak. You're gonna have a flood. You're gonna be freaking out. If you did that and you didn't watch this video first, turn off the angle stop. If your angle stop's bad, I'm gonna need you to shut off the water to your house. But this is that process, right? So it could be something as simple as that there is a kink or crimp, something restricting the flow from point A to point B on that supply line. You could also have, but unusual, is a blockage within your water lines. If you have solid water lines in your home, this shouldn't be something like, let's say, copper. But if you have galvanized piping, that kind of thing, that's going to, over time, your water line starts out, you know, half an inch thick, but that rust inside of there is going to restrict that. So if you have galvanized piping, this is really where that applies, not necessarily if you have PEX, copper, CPVC, that kind of thing. The other thing that it could be is, hey, let's talk about, is the restriction on hot or cold or both? And it could be that there's something going on at your water heater, like your water heater lines coming through and there's a leak or something's restricting that. Let's say your water heater is off. You're going to have a reduction in volume. If you have a pressure balancing faucet, that kind of thing. So definitely something to consider if you're like, angle stop's good, supply line's good, my aerator's clean, and I don't have galvanized pipe. What's the next thing to consider? That's the next thing to consider. Past that, okay, we're talking, get your big boy panties on, because we're talking a severe leak. So you could have water's going somewhere else, so it's not making it to your faucet, and that would be a slab leak. You're not seeing water because it's under the foundation of your home, but that water is going somewhere and not making it to your faucet. So that's a worst case scenario, not very common. Usually you're going to notice if you have a slab leak because your water bill went up, that kind of thing, or you have no hot water. But it is something that could be the cause, is your water's going somewhere else and you're not visually seeing it, and that's a slab leak. Another thing that it could be is, well, your faucet just needs to be fixed. As simple as that. And not necessarily true for a lot of us natives in Arizona, but the last and final thing that it could be is that you have frozen pipes. We don't often see that in Phoenix, but when we're talking North Flagstaff, things like that, pipes freeze, then again, reducing the volume, that kind of stuff. But that's just a matter of, honestly, sometimes just being patient and being more prepared for the frozen weather. Tip, you don't want your pipes to freeze, moving water can't freeze. Turn on a faucet, add a drizzle. When that temperature gets to freezing, you're going to be just fine. No explosions of pipes, no frozen lines, moving water can't freeze. So that's my pro tip to you from Phoenix, of all places, on how to handle that. So if you are running into a situation where you don't have the proper water volume or pressure to your faucet, going through those bullet points, not figuring it out, or you want us to figure it out, we got you. So you can definitely reach out to us at 623-486-4657 or on our website at robinsplumbing.com to schedule someone to come out, diagnose what's going on, and give you the options to make a permanent repair.